on your responsibilities. And your expectations change also from your spouse. And this goes, and you're married now. Now you have a son who's, coming into his tender years. And but as soon as I married Sarah, our relationship changed from being boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance to husband and wife. It was like, okay, now we have to start working on those husband and wife goals, like setting up retirements and when are we going to have a house, and and I'm not saying that I was pressured by my spouse. That's not what happened at all to get those things. But those things are now expectations, like that we want to create that base for our family. And while you're doing that, while you're trying to do the other things in life, while you're trying to it's hard to manage that because you've got to go, baby, I love you to death. I'm going to get you all those things I want. But right now we're going to struggle for a little while. You have to understand that. And then, we went through stages of that. And I think this is applicable for guys who probably already have families and who are transitioning, because you get out and all of a sudden you have that mindset, like, I got to care for number one, and then I got to work on that. But you might have goals that you're like, man, I want to get there. How do I get there with the family? And I tell you what, there's a lot of guys I know, guys and gals. Every time I say guys, gals, you're included in that. Just the military thing. Because if you look at my network, I have a ton of female veterans who are doing their thing, who are, busting down doors in their own industry. And so they're included. And I say guys colloquially, and I know I got to break that sexist pronoun and be better about including the girls into it. But there are females out there who have that same mindset as us, and because they went through the same experience we did, and they're busting shit up too.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is, I got distracted.
No, you're saying that guys and gals getting out with families, thinking about number one, but then they're at this mindset that
you're trying to achieve goals, and your goals might be lofty, like mine were.
Yeah.
You said at some point you decided to go to law school. I decided to go to law school the day I signed up at community college.
Gotcha.
I was going for the time for all of it, and that's why part of the reason when I started, I kept my head down and I graduated early. So I didn't have to stay there for the full 7 years, and I could do 6 years instead.
Yeah.
And trying to do that while you're weighing the expectations of your family is difficult. I was fortunate I didn't already have kids, and I'm trying to do this. But I know guys and gals who did, man, and they already had kids, and then they're going to school and busting ass. And, human beings are a miraculous species in that we figure out how to get through shit. Like, we just do it. And it's, if you make your mind up that you want something bad enough and that you're going to work for it, you're going to figure out how to do the logistics, and you're going to figure out how all that other stuff. And it really is. And here's another one of their cheesy sayings, man. A man who has a why can endure any how. And it's just, you figure out what your motivation is. If your motivation is strictly, I need to take care of my family's the most important, I guarantee you're going to bust your ass every day.
Yeah.
If your motivation was like me, and my goal is like, damn, I want to help as many people as I can and make life better for generations to come. How can I do that? Oh, I need to get there. I need to be in that position there so I can do that work.
Yeah.
And I got it. But we're all humans, man. You have goals. I have so many floating goals at the same time. And you're going to have that if you're a driven individual and you're a family person. My goals are to be a good dad. My goals are my children know that I care and I'm interested in their lives and what they have going on. But at the same time, how do I make sure I'm out there hustling to get what I want? Because what I want to do takes a lot of energy and effort.
Yeah. And time.
Yeah, and you know better. I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's like I want to be successful in all those areas, and you feel all the time that you're not, because you feel that you're going to sacrifice one over the other. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're listening to me for any kind of wisdom, and I've thought about this and contemplated it long and hard, it's not quantity, it's quality.
That's right.
when you get in there with your son, you might only have half an hour a day, but you make that half an hour the best half hour. You read him books. It's all about him, nothing else. You don't give him distracted time. And I guarantee you that means more than that. So there's a way
I just got chills.
There's a way to find that balance. And you know what? It's a constant struggle. I'm not going to say I got it figured out, because there are times that I need to be reminded by my spouse that I'm slacking.
Yeah. And,
there are times, so it's a constant thing. You're always working as a human being. I think the struggle to become a good, to achieve the goals you want to be, to instill the values you want in yourself and those around you, it's a constant work. You're never done with it.
Yeah.
It's a practical thing. And that's why it's like practicing law or practicing medicine, because it's always evolving. It's always changing. You always have to learn and change yourself and change your outlook. And when you learn new things, you have new experiences, that changes your views and outlooks and your processes and all that. So continue learning, keep an open mind, and, like I said, rely on others, be open-minded to try different things and figure out how you can incorporate, time management skills, relationship skills, so that you can have a good, husband-wife relationship while you're out spending 70 hours a week at your job. Because I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been at the law firm where I put in 55 hours in 3 days.
Yeah.
I've been, and you're going to have times where if you're trying to achieve goals, you're going to have to be away from that. And you're going to feel like, man, I'm not meeting my responsibilities in that area.
What does that feel like? What does it make you feel like? And how do you deal with that? Like, I know what you're saying, and I know how that feels, and I know that it makes me feel like I'm failing on one end or the other. And other people can look into our lives and say, man, you're doing it. You're being successful. And no matter how many people will sit here and tell me to my face that I'm doing a good job, I turn inside. I'm like, I'm not doing good enough.
Yeah.
How do you go through that same thing?
I do. And, I don't know. I think that might be just innate to being a human being. We're always more critical. There's a fascinating thing about the human brain, and I learned this through trying to become a better parent and learn about child rearing skills and all that shit.
Yeah.
One thing I learned is that children believe praise about themselves more when you're talking to someone else than they do if you tell them directly.
Uh-huh.
Basically, what they're saying is if a child overhears you telling someone else that they've done good, they're more likely to believe it than if you tell them straight to their face. Because human beings are wired to be skeptical of things that we're told directly. This person could be lying, but there's less of an incentive to lie to someone else about me. So I'm going to believe it more if I hear someone over talking about me. So like when you want to praise your kid, you don't praise it to them. You praise your kid to your wife. You tell them like, oh man, Jake was such a good kid today. He was so polite to this lady at the store. Yeah. And you're telling that to, you're
reinforcing the behavior.
What I'm getting at though is we are in our mind, we are skeptical to believe the people who tell us, man, you're killing it.
Yeah.
And what's going to be more powerful is our own psyche, our own ego, and our own id saying, no, dude, you could be better.
Yeah.
No, man, you're not doing what you could do. And I think that comes from people who have goals, who have ambitions, who have drive, and that they're always looking to self-improve. One of the things, and this is going to be important for transitioning people, especially guys who go on to college and go that route or anything. If you're going to a new career, you want to try something different, you're going to feel a lot of times that you're not adequate, man, that you don't belong there. I did that over and over again, even if I earned it, man. I earned my way into law school. You have to jump through so many freaking hoops. When I got a seat, I still got there and was like, man, I don't know if I'm as smart as all these other people. Like I did the same thing they did to get there. And you're still going to doubt yourself. And I think it's part of our human condition. And you have to reflect, maybe take into some of what they're saying, take into account, but also realize, like, don't get so wrapped up into it that it takes you down, that, oh man, you're so driven to be better. If it's overwhelming you that you just see the fault in everything you do, man, go get some counseling, because that's a problem where, a counselor can help you work that shit out in your own head, so that you're not wrapped up around that and focused on it to a point where it does start hurting your relationships and other things. And, when you're confronted with that, because I think all human beings are, and I think there's just some people who are better at not letting it affect them, and some people it overwhelms them. And
so
go ahead.
You've been talking a lot about seeking help and asking, right? So
yeah.
There's kind of two facets to this. Was there a leadership role? Was there a mentor before you got out? And then who did you turn to? Was there a specific person on the outside that you turn to as a mentor, as a leader, somebody that you can tap into at any time with a question about, am I on the right path, or can you point me, or whatever questions you had on attempting to kind of regroup yourself and form back into society?
Yeah, no. And that's why I'm sitting here stressing the importance of reaching out and finding people around to help you, and reaching out for resources that can help you in different ways, is because when I got out of the service and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to college, and this is what I need to do to achieve that. Like I told you, man, I put my head down, blinders on, and I charged through school as fast as I could. I hardly took advantage of the Career Resources Center. Mm-hmm. I hardly took advantage of the Vets Resource Center. And it's because, fortunately, I was smart enough to do well in school with the hard work that I was putting in.
Yeah.
But what I learned over time, the more I got into it and just, head down, blinders on, charging through it, once I got to Berkeley, it was like, no, kid. We're here to teach you a way to think. It's not just about getting the assignments done. And so I really had to take a step back and reevaluate the way I was doing something. Also, so to answer your question, man, no, I really went about it solo, and and I had, Sarah by my side pointing it out to me that, hey, you got to call people for help. And it's just the culture I grew up in, the area I grew up in, maybe just my mindset. I just didn't know or understand the importance of that, of reaching out for help to people. And I just figured, man, if I'm going to do this, I got to just do it myself and bust it out. And like I said, fortunately, I had the brains and the work ethic to carry me through. But I learned soon enough that wasn't everything, man. That wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go. Like, I had to work on my network. I had to do things, and that's what reaching out and talking to those career professionals about going to networking events and how to network and like learning all those auxiliary skills to get you where you want to go. It's not just about, okay, I have my law degree now, you're supposed to give me a job, right? No, that's the way it works at all.
Yeah.
So I learned that lesson. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. And so I'm looking back in hindsight and going, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
So it's really not like no, I had this person who guided me through. No, I didn't have that. So I'm telling you, go find that person that can help you, and look for them in different areas. Like I said, in education, in a professional mentor, an education mentor, like you're talking about, somebody you can mentor. You really can cultivate that relationship. And I do that now. I really do. I find mentors in the areas that I want to be in. And you think, how do I find a mentor? That seems like a weird thing, right? You don't go up to somebody and be like, will you be my mentor? You're a weirdo. It is something that has to happen organically, but it only happens once you put yourself in front of those people. Yeah. So you have to make that first step.
And let's talk about mentor. What's important to look for in a mentor? I'll kind of start it off with, you should probably be on the same lines of goals, right?
Yeah. Right. It depends on what you're trying to do. If it's just a life mentor, man, find someone who, Usually this ends up being somebody's spouse, but somebody who call you on your shit and you can talk to and work things out with, and just that you respect their opinion. And if you can surround yourself personally with people like that, that's great. A lot of those family members, when you shift that